All right, let's have a look at deriving parallelogram area formula. And the idea here is a parallelogram, right, has two parallel sides, like so. These sides here are parallel, these sides here are parallel. And what we find is there's a specific way we can calculate the formula. Normally we're used to calculating formula for things like rectangles, right? You would go the height times the width. So parallelogram area formula is a little bit trickier, but it's kind of the same idea. And what we do to work it out is we actually grab our parallelogram and we chop it up into a few different parts so that we can work out its area by turning it into a rectangle. So to do that, I've got to put two lines here and I change my parallelogram into a triangle, a box, and another triangle. Right, so you can see how here I've got a parallelogram, but rather than considering it as a parallelogram, I'm saying what I'm going to do is I'm going to chop this up into three different parts and I'm going to make a rectangle. And I'm actually going to grab this end part here and detach him and put him on over here. So my triangle didn't quite match up perfectly there, but we'll just have a little play. Cool. So what you'll see there is we now have a rectangle. My shape's still exactly the same area. I've got a rectangle that's this high and this long. Oop, that's longer than it's supposed to be. And this long. So let's look at what parts they match up to when we put it back to our parallelogram. So if we go back to our parallelogram here, you can see that what we want times together is our height. So most common mistake is that people want to get the height here. We're not interested in that height here. We're interested in this height here because when we turn it into a rectangle, that's going to be the length of one of our sides. And when we want the width, we want from here to here. Not like the whole way along, not only the middle part here, but I want the bottom times by the height. So the length along the bottom or the top, doesn't matter, the same length, times by the height. So the parallelogram formula is basically that, height times width. So if I have a parallelogram, we'll set this up. And I tell you that that height there is 3, this height here is 4, and this height here is 5. To work it out, you're going to use the height, 3, times the width, 5. 3 times 5 equals 15. If it was meters, it'd be meters squared. You're going to ignore that 4. That 4 doesn't come into it at all. It's a trap.